Hello pilots and welcome back to another X-Wing flight video brought to you by Out of Art Gaming. My name is Phil and today we have the first semi-final for the Commentator Wars. So we've finally hit that top 4 bracket. We've lost one player already and we're going to see who is going to make it into our first slot for the final. Joining me to commentate this game we have...
It's the semi-finalist James. I made it.
Quite happily, I think you'll agree. You made it quite comfortably there. But yes, welcome to the semi-final, James. And this is actually your semi-final that you're playing in. So you'll be able to hopefully give us some insights into what you're flying and why you're flying it and what your plan was against quite an interesting list, I feel, from Quinn, our other semi-finalist there.
Yeah, Quinn brought a very interesting list of abilities and upgrades and things to deal with.
Yes, he's known for bringing interesting lists. He definitely doesn't make it easy on his opponents, although sometimes it doesn't always make it easy on himself either, with having to try and trigger things there. But let's have a quick look at Quinn's list. So he's gone for a Rebel list this time, with a Hawk, with Rourke Garnet, with no upgrades, so no Moldy Crow on there. We do have Kanan Jarrus in the Ghost with Maul, Heightened Perception, Suppressive Gunner, hold your shudders there, James, and Dorsal Turret. And supporting that, we have Captain Rex in the TIE Fighter with Stuff Device, and Ezra Bridger also in the TIE Fighter. And that is where Maul is able to join this party with them because Ezra is in the squadron. So let's have a look. What are you running for us then, James?
So I've got my sort of favoured list, really. It's Poe Dameron in the T-70 X-Wing. That is the original Poe, so the Trigger Happy Flyboy subtitled one, and he has an R4 Astromech, heavy laser cannon, S-foils, and heroic. I've also got 9 Num. I never know how to say his first name. I think it's 9. I'll say that.
I would say Nien Num.
Nien? It sounds a bit Iranian. All right, we'll go with Nien. Nien Num with R4 Astromech, heavy laser cannon, S-foils, heroic, and a pattern analyzer. And finally, we've got Temmin Wexley, once again with the original one. So the one with the subheading of Snap. And he has an R4 Astromech, heavy laser cannon, S-foils, and heroic.
So quite similar in their loadouts there, just sticking a pattern analyzer on Nien Num.
Yeah, the combo with that upgrade and Nien's ability is so good when it gets pulled off, and it's 5 points. So
yeah, pattern analyzer is an expensive upgrade, and for certain pilots and certain abilities, especially Nien Num's ability, it does really, there's a big payoff there for that.
Yeah, I like this list a lot because they're all in the same ship with very similar upgrade. I mean, they're the same upgrades effectively. Yeah. So they can all do the same kind of multi-role position in the list, but they've each got good abilities on their own and they don't have to rely on each other.
Yeah, which is quite nice when you have 3 ships that can almost do their own thing without having to go, oh, well, if this person can't do this, then I can't do that.
Yeah, because in a previous video where I played against Amy with the same named pilots, but the newer versions of Poe and Temmin, I found that my other ships were going too far away from Poe to benefit from his ability, and Temmin wasn't always close enough to get people to switch their wings over and stuff with his ability. So I thought I'd go back to the ones I prefer.
No, that's fine. Makes complete sense. And as long as I've known you, you've always been a big fan of the T-70 X-Wings. They've been pretty much a staple of your list building.
I really like just their design. I know they're very similar to the classic Rebel ones, but with the semicircle engines, they look a lot closer to the Ralph McQuarrie art.
Yeah.
And those concept arts are so good.
Oh yeah, some of the concept arts that they had were just amazing, and you can see where the final design came from. But it's also quite nice where they can then pull again from those concept arts later on.
I mean, almost all of Rebel's design is from those things.
Yeah. So it is going to be quite interesting to see what kind of action we get from those 270s. I'm not going to lie, when someone puts 270s on the board, they are, well, 270s and 265s even, they are quite tough. They're hardy little ships. They're
good
do pack a
all-rounders.
punch. Yeah.
Which I kind of wanted because I had no idea what Quinn was going to bring.
Yeah, I mean, if we look through the other 5 games that 4 games he's played in the tournament, he's brought something different to every game. I know he's flown 2 ghosts, but again, it's a variation on the ghost that he's flying. The scum list he flew against you with the suppressive gunner, which really nullified your A-Wing's potential punch there.
His
tough.
favoured use of suppressive gunner was a heavy influence on me taking the heavy laser cannon variety of this list.
Yeah, I can imagine giving you that extra punch that you could just bring into the list as well.
Yeah, 4 dice. I mean, you got to line up the bullseye, but they're maneuverable enough. And if you get it, then brilliant. But also, Quinn's brought a lot of other things to lower my attack.
Yes. So we've obviously got Captain Rex in there with his ability, which can be a bit tricksy. So that's the suppressive fire. While you perform an attack against... So if you do have suppressive fire, whilst you perform an attack against a ship other than Captain Rex, roll 1 fewer attack die. After Captain Rex defends, remove this card at the end of the combat phase. If Captain Rex did not perform an attack with this phase, remove the card. And obviously, if he dies, remove the card.
Yep.
So a lot of words on there, but I mean, if Quinn is able to pull it off, suppressive fire and suppressive gunner.
Well, and Kanan.
Yes, that is true as well. So while a friendly ship and you're firing up defense, you may spend 1 force. If you do, the attacker rolls 1 fewer attack die. So he could be dropping you to either 1 attack die with a heavy laser cannon or 0, nullifying your attack completely.
Could you imagine firing a heavy laser cannon and rolling 1 die?
Oh, that would be kind of.
That is something that could happen in this game.
Yeah, it would be quite heartbreaking. Actually, you spend all that time to get that bullseye lined up, and then suddenly you're like, "Well, now I can't use it."
Yeah. The other side of that is that because he has that threat of removing my attack dice, I mean, it's sort of spoilers for the game. I'm not closing my wings.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, if I line up the bullseye, I can seize the heavy laser cannon, but I'm pretty sure I don't close my wings at all because I don't want to lose any attack dice.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. Anytime I've flown 265s or 270s, I think I very rarely close the wings. It's normally in sort of like the early positioning stages that I'd be more tempted to close the wings.
I've started doing it a little bit more when I've been playing around with the new version of Temin, but having to keep everyone close enough to him to get that to work doesn't always work out.
Yeah, that is quite tricky there.
But yeah, Quinn has a scary list. I mean, Rourke can get someone to shoot at initiative 7.
Yeah, and on the subject of Rourke,
a force.
Yeah, on the subject of Rourke, he has just lost a shield going over that debris cloud there. So that's not a great start, but still.
What else is scary on his list? Kanan has 3 force points.
Yes, because he also has Maul.
And on a 0 agility ship, all of that's going on attack.
Yeah, absolutely.
Almost all the time, at least. I mean, you might get an obstructed shot
or a range 3
or something.
Yeah. But you can almost guarantee that most of that is going to be going into his attack there, which just, it allows him that flexibility of just reinforcing as often as he wants and then using Maul. But also, another interesting thing with Maul as well is that after he suffers damage, he can just take a stress token and recover a force. So he has the ability to get that force back quite quickly.
Yeah, he's not going to be particularly starved of force because of that.
Yeah. So it's a very interesting combination there. And for 10 points, adding that additional force token and giving you the ability to get that back quite quickly, I think that's quite cheap actually.
Yeah.
It's not massively expensive.
Target lock.
Yeah. So it looks like is that near numb aiming for a target lock there.
Yeah, I think I looked at it and thought, well, if I'm out of range, then fine, I'm safe. And if I'm in range, I probably won't spend the target lock on a range 3 through a rock, even if it is on a ghost.
Yeah.
And Poe doing his Poe shenanigans of just old push the limit, double actions.
Yes. Oh, I do miss push the limit. That was a great.
Well, fly Poe.
Yeah, but you know me, I prefer to fly the bad guys.
I mean, to be fair, with the introduction of linked actions, everyone has a sort of push the limit.
Yeah, and I quite like that they've got that in there as a sort of flavour, and rather than being a do whatever you want with it, it's more a case of, right, you can link certain actions into other actions, and it makes a lot more sense.
I think it helped define like the roles of ships better, because things that are supposed to be more maneuverable can do the double reposition with a boost and a barrel roll, whereas other things like the X-wings can boost and focus or barrel focus.
And again, it provides other interesting options as well. For instance, you look at Rourke and he's got focus into rotate turret or target lock into rotate, and it's like that makes sense for a ship like that. Looks like we are using Rourke's ability to actually allow Kanan to fire at initiative 7 there. And
I think that's a spending of, that's the suppressive gunner.
Yep, suppressive gunner. And I believe 1 force to make that a hit crit. And do you spend that, or do you?
I think I do spend it because I've got the target lock for the offense.
Yeah,
there you go.
It makes sense. You don't want to be losing points early, especially against a
particularly
4 dice
on Poe, who is the most expensive. I mean, not by much. They're a fairly even spread of points. Poe is 70, 9 num or near num is 68, and then Temin's 60.
Yeah,
so I did, because sometimes Poe can get very expensive, and he becomes a target.
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks like we've got 2 hits there, and just 1 shield on the ghost. Not a bad return there, I suppose.
I mean, am I right in thinking that 1 damage was guaranteed to be the result of that? Oh no, I hadn't actually rolled. This is the game where it was doing that.
Oh, where it was doing that?
Yeah, we should probably explain that.
Rolling, yeah. So there was a bit of time on TTS where, for some reason, anytime you placed a dice down, it just automatically rolled it.
Yeah, there's a few occasions in this game where you'll see dice roll, and then we'll just re-roll because that wasn't the actual roll.
Yeah,
so sorry about that. Not much we can do.
Yeah, it was an absolute nightmare. Fortunately, that has been fixed now, and it doesn't seem to be an issue. But in the end, the result was still 1 shield there because of the reinforced.
Yeah, I was going to say, because of the reinforced, with those red dice, that was guaranteed to be the result anyway, right?
Yes, absolutely. And
Ian coming in with a...
Yeah.
If only those shields weren't there.
Yeah, that would be rather tasty. So that's 2 going to go through again because of that reinforce.
It's the most green dice a ghost can get, I think, isn't it?
Yes, actually, spending a force to only suffer 1. So we were talking about how the force is going to be spent purely on attack, and we've already seen it used once on defense. So
now, he
that's
didn't opt to
unexpected.
use Maul, did he? Or
No.
does Maul have to be a damage card, or can it be used on a shield? I can't remember.
So Maul states after you suffer damage. Now, to my understanding, damage is not shields. It's actually hull, but it's a bit tricky.
Yes, I think.
So it's a question I think that used to come up pretty much every time that we would play in the store. It's a case of damage. Is that a shield or does that have to be hull?
Yeah, and there was the whole thing of like take a damage card or be dealt a damage card, and like a dealt one would go under the shields. That was version 1. That might still be the case. It's one of those things where it's like a very specific word means a very specific thing.
Yeah.
It's not always obvious that that's the case.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There are instances where you can just deal straight damage under shields. And in my mind, I'm thinking it's the TIE Defender, probably either Rex Labrath or Merrick Steele. I will have a quick look and see. Nowadays, there's so many different pilots with so many different abilities. Sometimes it's quite tricky to keep on top of them.
And now we're getting the same pilot with different abilities.
Which I actually kind of like.
Oh, yeah, I like it. But it does make it more confusing to keep track. It's like, okay, who you got? I've got Poe. It's okay, which Poe? So I've got this one. Okay, right, great. What are you flying? Oh, I've got Hera. Okay. What Hera is she flying? No, it's the crew Hera. Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose we kind of have to talk about it. When we're talking about pilots with various abilities, we have seen the Fury of the First Order pack leaked, not announced yet, but leaked. And I'm not going to lie, as soon as I saw that, I was very excited by that pack.
I mean...
Obviously, you're not a First Order player.
I was going to say, I hope they do a new version of Kylo, but he doesn't fly the bombers that have been leaked. But there's the ship in the middle that he might be in.
The TIE Whisper, which is the one from Rise of Skywalker.
Is the one that Rey jumps over.
Yeah, which we see Kylo flying. So it would be criminal not to see Kylo in that. So
I hope he's in it and he has a different ability, because like, no one uses it.
Yeah. Ooh.
Also, I was not expecting that K-turn from Kanan over the debris.
So double stressing
and
himself.
Right in the way.
Does he damage himself? No, he doesn't.
No, but he does take 2 stress.
Yes, so very ballsy there from Quinn. But yeah, so Kylo Ren will... It's almost a given that he's going to be in the TIE Whisper, and I do hope he does get another ability, but I was very excited about that pack. When I first saw it, I didn't actually notice the TIE Whisper between the bombers, because the bombers were just so in your face. But I think I'm really excited for that pack, because not only is it a squadron pack for the First Order, which is the only faction that didn't have one, we're actually getting brand new ships in there as well, which we haven't had for
True, all of the others
some
have been
time.
blueprints.
Yeah, all of the others. The only other packs that we had new ships in was the CIS and the Republic, because they were like the intro.
Yeah, they were
packs.
new factions. It was like, hey, starter packs. Anyway, back to the semi-final game.
Yes.
I wasn't expecting Quinn to do the K-turn, because he'd come in to the attack with everyone close together, and now he's kind of split them up a little bit.
Yeah, he's sort of hoping to get angles. It'd be interesting to see where that dorsal turret is actually facing at the moment.
I can't remember.
But also can't see.
Timmin with that boost. Free boost.
Yeah.
After doing, is it speed 2 or higher? After you fully execute a speed 2 to 4 maneuver, you can perform a boost.
Yeah.
He is so good at hunting down low initiative ships.
Yeah, I mean, he's in a perfect position there just to absolutely murk Rex.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping to at least take off his stealth device.
Yeah.
Because if I can get rid of that, I can probably take him out.
I mean, you've also got...
annoying.
Yeah, you've also got Nien Nunb and Poe just in case. Ideally, well, unfortunately, because Temin is the one that's going to be shooting last, you're probably going to try and aim Poe and Nien elsewhere. But we do have Captain Rex utilising Rourke's ability and shooting first. And there's those dodgy pre-rolling dice again.
Very cool combo that Quinn's got.
Yeah. Also the fact that it means that he doesn't necessarily have to use... Oh, that's a bit disappointing though. It does mean that he doesn't have to use Force on Kanan to get that initiative 7.
I don't think Kanan actually has a shot with his main gun. So
No.
it'd only be if the turret is pointing towards Temin that he would have a shot.
Yeah. But we can see no damage there on Nien, but he does now have the suppressive fire on him.
Yes.
So it kind of makes you go, do you just go for that shot on Rex? Because when you look at it...
I'm trying to remember what I do, because I was looking at them, I was like, okay, Rourke's damaged from going over the asteroid. Ezra's over there, but I know everyone can shoot Rex.
Yeah.
And even if Rex dies from Poe and Nien, Timmy can still shoot other people.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things you've got. One of the things that came up in last week's game when it was myself versus you, I believe, and I mentioned to Amy, sort of, sometimes you've got to look at the order that you're going to actually shoot in and what the targets are. So if you've got 2 ships that have the same ship in your arc, but one of them only has that ship and one of them has another ship, it's better to shoot, if they're at the same initiative, it's better to shoot with the ship that can only shoot the one, because if that goes down from that one shot and it's the other one that's shot, then you've got nothing else to shoot at. So you may as well go, right, that's the only thing I can shoot, go for that, and then let's look at the other one.
Yeah, and as if to prove me absolutely right as to constantly going for Rex, both Poe and Nien shot him and didn't do anything other than making him spend his focus.
Yeah. Oh, it's tricky when you've got a TIE fighter with stealth device. That's a lot of green dice there.
That is a lot of green. Also, my attacks were unmodified.
Yeah.
The only real benefit was that Nien could use the heavy laser cannon to still use 3 dice.
So we have already seen that heavy laser cannon in play then, which is quite nice. I do like the heavy laser cannon. It's a good upgrade. I think it's a fairly costed upgrade as well.
It is 5 points.
Yeah. Because didn't at one point it used to be 7 points, I think it used to be more expensive. I don't know.
It has come down a little bit. I don't think it was 7. I think it was 6 and went down to 5.
That's right. But yeah, I think it's a
Ion
good upgrade.
cannon went from 7 to 6.
Yeah. Oh, and there we go. Rather than getting new dice and watch them pre-roll themselves, we're swapping them over. So we do have a range 1 now from Temin.
With a focus. That one dies slightly off the screen for me, but I'm pretty sure it was a hit of some sort. After spinning the focus, it was.
Well, that is definitely the stealth device down. So guaranteed to... No, that was a hit down there. So that is Captain Rex gone. One-shotted by Temin.
I mean, you say one-shotted, but in a way it was a team effort.
I mean, yeah, it was a team effort. Team effort to strip that.
Well, actually, no. It was a duo effort. Poe didn't actually do anything, but Nien at least made him spend the focus.
Yeah, so that's always a plus side.
And that's one source of less attack dice to deal with.
Yeah. So you're now definitely going to have at least 2 shots with your heavy laser cannon if it all goes wrong.
Okay, so his turret is currently facing towards Poe.
Yes, so we know that it is on ship right at the moment.
Now, what do you think he would do? Because he's double stressed and he's facing that debris again.
Knowing Quinn, fly back over it.
Yeah, probably.
He might do something. He actually might do something quite slow, and just do a 1-speed maneuver, like a 1 forward. Potentially remove 1 stress, but then more than likely go back over it and give himself another stress, but then still be in the way of Poe and Nien Nunb and make them have to move like in a way that you potentially don't really want to be doing. Or
Yeah,
you could just go too forward and not care. Oh, that's not a bad shot there from Ezra.
I think that was into Poe.
Yes, it was. So that is one shield down on Poe there. I don't think this is quite how Quinn was hoping the round would go, but I think he was also quite happy to deny actions to Poe and Nien there.
Yeah, I think he was expecting maybe me to go a little quicker or just not bump into the ghost so that the ghost could shoot at them.
Yeah. I mean, it was always tricky, especially when you stress the ghost. It's not got the greatest dial to get rid of stress.
True.
But one of the plus sides there, obviously, it stopped them shooting at the ghost as well. So the ghost has got more health now than you would possibly expect from being in such close proximity to 3 T-70s.
But a round of your biggest gun not shooting
is not great. But I think this is going to be interesting now, because looking at it, I'd assume Poe is going to want to be trying to go to the right of that debris cloud, but you've got Ezra right there in a perfect position to get a block in. The ghost could potentially be a pain in the butt and get a block in as well. Rourke could also try and block Temin, because Temin is, you see where Temin is, he's definitely going to be looking to either probably bank to ship right there.
Yeah, I think Temin does dial in a bank of some sort.
And obviously Quinn has the initiative to place his ships in an advantageous position there.
Yes. Yeah, I can't quite remember what I ended up doing with Nien. I remember that Poe was, as you say, trying to just do a bank to not hit that debris, because Poe does not like stress.
No.
Because he already stresses himself with his ability.
He likes to cause himself the stress through the actions, but not in any other method. I think Poe's probably in one of the trickier positions there, because he's going to be the easiest to block. I think you could potentially get Temin. Like, Temin can sort of judge that it's going to happen and maybe do a 2 or a 3 to get past that. So it's going to be quite interesting. Nien's probably got the most open space, because that ghost, even if it does a 1 forward, that's still a big move for a large
Yeah,
base
it's
ship.
weird to think that he has the most space to move on the next turn, because there's currently a ship right in his way.
Yeah. But it is going to be interesting. I mean, you've got 1 ship down so far, and you've got 36 points. Ooh, that's more aggressive than I was expecting from Ezra there. I think he was looking to do the 3K turn, but it was a bit too close.
Yes, he dialed in some sort of red.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Oh, so we're seeing Kanan go to block there. Any more damage? No more damage?
But more stress. There's a lot of stress going on.
Yeah, so he got rid of 1 stress and added another. Rourke. Okay, that's a very interesting blocking manoeuvres going in there. So I didn't see the ghost and Rourke doing that, to be honest.
And I think that is a stress to rotate the gun.
Yes, looks like we're rotating the gun backwards. So hoping to probably catch Temin there. Yep.
Which he will.
That is a great block from Kanan there.
I mean, it's a big base to try and avoid.
Yeah. That's not a great position for Kanan, with Nien right behind him. No bump either. And also looks like you might have got out of the arc of Ezra there as well. It's very close.
Remember, actually. He may have. But I think I felt safe enough to not take a focus, so that could be the case.
Yeah.
Also worth noting that Kanan does not have any ships docked, so he doesn't get a rear arc gun.
Yes, that is true.
And Poe tried to do the bank and just bumped into Ezra.
But again, I think that's actually worked out pretty good for you, in that you've got a good shot on the ghost. You've got 2 good shots on the ghost, and
He's got Rourke into Timon, I think, is his only shot.
That's it.
Well, unless Ezra has that one on Nian.
And it looks like that is an unobstructed shot into the ghost as well.
Sneaking it around that obstacle.
So,
once again, that's not the roll. Just gather out the dice after they decide to scatter.
I mean, it'd be a nice roll.
It would.
That's a better
that's
roll.
Better.
Oh, that is better. Hit, crit. And that's both the last shield's gone and a crit onto Kanan. Let's see what it is. It is a wounded pilot. It's not the best. Not what you were hoping for, I suppose.
No, I was hoping for the big ones like double damage or maybe a fuel leak.
Oh, a fuel leak would have been.
But a crit's a crit. It's nice.
A crit's a crit. And you now have a range 1 shot here from the end num, so maybe you can double down on that damage.
Also, he has a target lock.
Yep. So that's 2 hits already. So that is already looking pretty good. Let's see what these last 2 dice come out with. Oh, that is a great round of shooting.
Yeah, and because of the stress on Kanan, not having that reinforced has meant that the damage is added up pretty quick.
Yeah. I mean, that's 7 damage you've just put through there, and with a crit involved as well. That's
from only 2 ships.
Yeah.
7 damage is pretty good. That's why I like these ships. They can really dish out the damage when they need to.
Yeah.
And often when they don't when you need it to, but it happens.
It's just the combination that they've got. They've got the maneuverability, they've got the health, they've got that attack. Yes, they've only got the 2 evade dice, but I think if they had any more green dice, it would just be, you'd be looking defender territory broken, and they would definitely be very expensive.
Oh, you would not be able to fit 3 of them with these upgrades in the list.
Yeah, you'd be looking at defender style again. Ooh, that's not a bad shot. So with that focus, that's 3 hits. So Temid is definitely losing all of his shields there. So that's quite a good reply there.
I mean, there was a good bump, good positioning. He was confident that he had the bump and set up that rear arc. So fair play, deserved the damage.
Yeah, and Ezra is just out of arc there of Temid, so no shot there. And let's see how close. Nowhere near.
It looks much closer on here.
It does. It looks like it looks much wider, that angle.
I think maybe it's because of the yellow bars on the side of his base, and it looks like the red line goes under it rather than sort of to it, maybe.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that red line clips to the very corners, which when you actually look at the base, it doesn't. If you think about the pilot card that goes on there, there is that space outside of the base. But I have to say, I think that was Nien was very well positioned there to be able to get an unanswered attack, as with Poe. Obviously, I think Ezra was in there to do that block to stop Poe from getting actions, but it didn't quite pan out how Quinn was hoping there.
Yeah, I mean, he was hoping that Ezra was facing the other way. Because he tried to do the K-turn.
Yeah, maybe anticipating Poe doing a larger maneuver, or even Temmin doing something a lot bigger.
Oh, maybe, yeah. If he hadn't got the bump, Timon would have had to have gone pretty quick. Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, what do they have? Is it the 4K turn, the T70s?
They have a 4K turn and the 3 Talon roll.
Yeah, so
their reds.
Yeah, a 4K turn would have, if Ezra had managed that 3K turn and Temmin had done a 4K turn, that would have been really nice positioning, because then you'd have had the Ghost and Ezra both going in on Temmin. But then Temmin would have also had a shot into the Ghost, so it's a bit of a tough one.
I can tell you now that Poe is still going to try and go around that debris, because a 1 forward will put him on it, and the sharp turns. I mean, maybe the sharp turn to his left might catch Rourke, but with the ghost being the target that I want to go for,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to go behind Ezra for now.
Yeah. I think looking at it, your best bet is probably going to be a 1 or 2 bank and then try and boost round, potentially.
I think the real question I had to ask myself here was, where is the ghost going? Because I don't want to bump again with Temin.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, is Quinn going to try to relieve some of that stress, which I don't think is going to be possible because...
How much stress does it have at this point? 3?
Well,
and it looks like
now...
it's just landed on that other bit of debris.
It would be 2 because he managed to remove a stress every time. So he gained 2 for the K-turn and going over the debris. Then it was a 2 bank which removed a stress but then gained it for the debris. That was obviously a 1 or 2 forward, removing the stress but gaining it for the debris. So yeah, that ghost is just keeping that stress like it's nobody's business. Ezra obviously having to now try and reposition after being stressed.
And Rourke having to do a sort of slower maneuver to de-stress as well.
I mean, his gun's still facing in the right direction, so he's not too bad. So here's a tricky
Yeah,
one
I think I
you.
just went 2 straight, figure out where he's going to be, because at least if I go 2, I can get the free boost to get a bit of extra positioning.
Yeah, but it always looks like you might be out of that dorsal turret arc and you might have just put yourself in that arc.
I think I was looking at it and thought, wow, if only I had closed my wings, I could probably barrel roll out of the arc. But
yeah,
I think I was looking at it and I was already in the side arc, so I get a bit of distance with the boost and still be able to grab a focus.
Yeah, and Nian has definitely got Kanan in arc.
I could not believe that he didn't go over that debris. Look, you can see my hand hovering over there. It's like, did he not go over
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Looking out for that red outline on those obstacles. And then if you miss it, just checking that little game log.
Yeah, I think that's what we were looking at. Because I was expecting to have to check for range 1 on Temin and see if he can de-stress with his ability.
Yeah.
Which I guess I should probably read out. After you gain a stress token, if there is an enemy ship in your front firing arc at range 0 to 1, you may remove that stress token. So he doesn't particularly care for debris clouds.
Yeah.
A lot of the time. And Poe finally managed to go around the debris.
It's weird because I've seen you fly T-70s so often, and I'm so used to them just flying around a lot. And other than, say, Temin, you haven't really been able to do a whole lot of flying with them because there's been so much bumping.
Yeah, the ghost barreling right into my face did put a bit of a stop to positioning.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be interesting here now because both of you only have one ship that can shoot, which is Rourke out the back, which I think you're going to have to go. It's going to have to go at the end.
I think so.
Oh, it looks like
the dorsal turret into Timid.
Yeah, is that spending? Is that Rourke triggering his ability?
I think Kanan's too far away from Rourke for that. It's probably a heightened perception, isn't it?
At the start of the engaged phase, you may choose one ship in your firing arc.
I was just in the firing arc.
Yeah. Oh no,
Okay.
There is a force spend there 'cause it was just outside, so there was a force spend there for it. 1 hit. And
I think it was dodged.
Yeah, it was.
The dice have already gone. I was looking at
Yeah.
abilities.
Yeah, no, it was evaded. So nothing from
Just
Poe.
due diligence, checking for the Poe's arc.
Yeah. And catching Kanan at range
Only
1.
just.
Only just, yes. Only just. But
And then the dice explode again.
Yeah.
Goes up. Oh, but it is range 1.
yeah, so it's range 1, so 4 dice with a focus. So, I mean, crits are going to be good. Will we see another force spend on defense?
I mean, if he rolls it, I guess maybe we just looked and went.
Or maybe that did roll. So that's.
I think maybe I was getting a bit fed up with it and just said, I'll let go of these and we'll just count that as the roll.
Yeah.
And then I think I saved the focus because I was confident that he was going to shoot at Nian.
Yeah, it makes sense. If you're going to go, you've only got 2 dice, so range 2, 2v2 is going to be better than 2v3. And we've got to focus.
Hitting a crit?
It looks like it.
Double blanks. If only I had
Heroic.
When it triggers, it's a lot of fun. When you go a whole game without it happening, it's a bit disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean, in some ways, you don't want it to have to trigger.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun when it does.
It's kind of like taking a target lock. Like, you're happy, like, unless you're using munitions, you're happy you've got a target lock. So you're like, you know, I've got that bit of safety net.
Yeah, no, I can see that. It's like the defensive target lock.
Yeah, but you're almost there like, if I don't have to use that target lock, that's going to be better.
Yes.
I mean, I think you could say the same for pretty much every token. The only token that you're normally most happy that you've got is, I'd say, an evade token, to be honest. That's the only one that you're not going to be too disappointed about having to spend, unless you're a TIE Phantom.
Yeah, I was going to say that the Phantom's ability,
yeah,
the evade is pretty good.
Yeah,
that sounds about right.
I mean, especially in first edition, if you had an evade, you're like, yeah, I'm okay for using that because it added an evade rather than changing an evade.
Yes, and that rule change, as someone who plays against a lot of sort of aces ships with a lot of defense dice, that change is very welcome.
You mean the turtled up Soontir Fel?
Yes.
I'm going to
specifically Soontir Fel. I don't know if I've told you about it before, but he has been a pain in version 1.
Yes, I'm going to focus, and then with push the limit, I'm going to evade and get a stress. And because I'm Soontir Fel, I'm going to get a focus. So that is double focus and an evade.
Although I did manage to get rid of a stealth device. I think it was a stealth, or maybe I just landed a hit on him. It was range 3 through an obstacle, and he just blanked on his dice. It was great.
I have genuinely had that happen before in a single ship tournament. I was running Soontir Fel, came up against Quick Draw. Quick Draw had initiative, so shot me, stripped some of my tokens away. I shot back at Quick Draw.
Took off a shield and he
took off a shield.
Fired back. Yeah.
She fired back. Well, she fired back and wiped me out. And the only good thing about that was the game before lunch, so I got a slightly longer lunch break.
Yeah, having the shorter games before lunch is often quite good.
Tournaments. You don't want to be that last game that's like gone to time, but then it still takes 5-10 minutes.
Also, everyone ends up coming around to watch.
Yeah, that it can be fun, but also can be rather daunting. In the same tournament, my first game was first edition Soontir Fel versus first edition Vader with veteran instincts. So he was initially he was pilot skill 11.
Yeah.
And when you're suddenly being outflown by something else, when you're so used to being the pilot, it was absolutely brutal. And it literally went down 2-time, very last dice roll. The only way to win it was if I managed to score a direct hit with the last roll. And somehow out of nowhere, the Force had left Vader and come to me, and a direct hit actually came out. And I was just like, oh my God. It was the most taxing game I'd ever played, and there were only 2 ships on the board.
But those moments are the ones we're talking about it here. You remember them. They're fun.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking 3 or 4 years ago that was, and I still vividly remember it. I remember everyone being around the table, the card coming out, and everyone just looking at it going, what's it going to be? What's it going to be? Flip over, direct hit, and everyone... Like, no matter who they were rooting for, everyone loved that moment because it was just one of those pure moments that you get in a game that everyone is just so excited for it. They're just like, you know what? it was brilliant. And another reason why I really enjoy this game for moments like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Looks like we're back to shooting, and Rourke has told Ezra to shoot first.
Yes.
But it's obstructed.
Range 1 obstructed, yes. And obstructed by a gas cloud as well. So that is very advantageous for you, especially when there's only one hit. So you are guaranteed to be okay, just.
I think I was looking as, do I spend it? And then I think we remembered the cloud.
Yes, you've got the gas cloud.
It looks like I forgot about the cloud. Whoops. Oh well.
Yes, you have missed the cloud there, so we'll see if that gets picked up in a moment.
I don't think it did.
No, but we do have the ghost actually utilising heightened perception to get a range 2 attack there on Temin. Thank God for you, it's not a range 1 attack. That would have been brutal. As it is,
with a roll like that,
that's still pretty good. Suppressive gunner. Oh, I don't know if I'd have. That's an interesting choice to suppress. I think I would have.
Well, I mean, Temin's on 4 health, so you know that 3 isn't going to get the kill. But if you lower his attack, you've got a better chance of surviving. So I think, on the maths of it, that's the call to make.
Yeah. And I mean, he did get another damage in there, so that is half points on Temin now.
Yep.
So 30 to 85 with 30 minutes left to play. After that initial round of damage, that's heavy laser cannon.
I think it is. We'll see how many red dice I grab, but from here it looks like it is.
What? I don't think you're going to miss that, to be honest. You've paid those 5 points for it, and if you manage to get a good hit,
I think I was trying to work it out because I think it was range 2, but not in the bullseye, or range 3 in the bullseye.
I think regardless, you take that range 3 in the bullseye because you get one more dice.
The red dice are more favoured than the green.
Yeah.
And also, I've paid for this upgrade. I'm going to use it.
Oh, are they more favoured though? I don't think you don't have a target lock either.
I don't, I'm afraid.
But you still get one through though. So, I mean, you never know. That one that hit could have been that extra dice. Quinn just taking the whole damage deck there. Yes.
Oh yeah, he had a bit of a bit of an issue with that.
I know there's a lot of health on there, but it's not quite that much. Oh no, it looks like it might not have actually been obstructed if you look at that angle that was just there. It might have been just unobstructed by those absolute tiny margins.
Is it one of those weird situations where it's obstructed one way and not the other?
No, because I think the closest to closest, the only way that would work is if the way obviously the arc works. But I think for you, like with Ezra there, closest to closest would be the same as the Num.
Right. I see how many green dice are grabbed. He's grabbing 4, so it's obstructed.
Oh, interesting. It didn't look obstructed there. Does he remember the gas cloud this time?
He spends a focus.
And takes a crit, so neither of you have remembered the gas clouds there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's a shame it was a crit that went through because of it, I guess.
Yeah.
I still feel like gas clouds are very new. I'm still not used to them.
I suppose you wouldn't actually have any gas clouds because you don't. I
bought some off a friend who had some spares.
Fair enough.
But also, I didn't have the rules for them. I just had the actual cloud templates.
Yeah. I mean, they have obviously changed them up.
Well, that also doesn't help because I think I finally got the hang of them. And then they went, oh, and here's now how they work. So, right, okay.
So you fly over them, roll an attack dice. On a focus or a hit, you gain a strain token. If you're attacking through them, you gain an additional evade dice, and you can change one blank to an evade. And you know what, I love gas clouds. I think they're the most forgiving of all the obstacles.
Oh, definitely. Particularly if you're flying stuff like a swarm or a large spaceship like the Ghost. But with Neon on my squad, the debris clouds really help.
Yeah.
Because he can sometimes just go straight over it.
Yeah. Which is just crazy. Like, ships that can just basically ignore obstacles like that are just brilliant. That's a shame.
Suppressive gunner. Well, suppressive gunner.
Yeah. It is good. It's very good. So
I didn't realise until we were going back over the previous game with me versus Quinn that you have to spend a focus to trigger it.
So you do have to spend that focus, but on certain ships, it is just so good. I mean, you look at what he was doing with your A-Wings.
Oh, that
was just...
Yeah. If you haven't seen that game and you want to see how effective Suppressive Gunner can be, go watch that one on the channel.
Yeah, it's a very good game. Quinn really showing how painful that Suppressive Gunner can be to you when you don't have many attack dice anyway.
I think maybe if Temin had more modifiers, I would have opted to take the damage.
Yeah, I suppose you didn't have a focus or the target lock there. But again, taking the damage, it's always a really tough call.
Yeah, I think there's also the case of, it would have put me at half by taking the damage.
Yeah. I mean, suppose you were already just got down to half anyway afterwards, but...
True.
But it looks like it's going to be... That Ghost is just flying aggressively. He really wants to get in Poe's face there.
I think at this point, Quinn realised that he's not really going to get rid of that stress.
Yeah.
And he just needs to get his positioning right, which seems the right call. Because I wasn't expecting him to be right there.
Yeah, and I tell you what, he's got some really nice positioning there with Ezra and Rourke. Nian's really got to do some fancy flying to even get... He can possibly... actually, I think it'd be really difficult to get out of both of their arcs there. Because there's a nice kill box that he's got. Oh, that's one way of getting out of Rourke's arc. Fly into him.
I think I was trying to do the
4K.
K-turn.
Yeah.
Fortunately, Nian doesn't get the stress because there's an enemy right in front of him.
But it also puts you
in a vulnerable spot.
Yeah, you're far enough away from the board edge to be okay, but still not great. So range 2 coming back at you from Ezra. I mean, up the other end of the board, again, Poe bumped into the Ghost, but Temin's got a nice shot back. But we'll see how this one goes here. So
Ezra going for the Force.
Yeah, why not really, to be honest. Oh, that worked out well.
Heroic again.
Oh,
but didn't quite work out this time. So a shield and 1 damage card onto Nian.
Yeah, and that's half points on Nian now. So some very good positioning there from Quinn again with those two. No shots coming back from the Ghost though, so although he's managed to block Poe, can't really take advantage of it. So we go all the way down through the list back to Snap Wexley, a range 2 at the Ghost. This could be enough, but you don't have any modifiers again.
Yeah, unmodified. No suppressive gunner in action though.
Yeah.
So fortunately that wasn't the roll.
Yes, I was going to say. Just a single crit.
So not enough to kill, but crit's always nice on something like that.
Yeah, let's see what it is. A direct hit would be quite nice, but no, it looks like We have something wordy, wait for it to pop up. So, structural damage, completely
yeah.
pointless. I mean, it does mean that the only way that the ghost can get an evade now is if it's range 3 and obstructed. But yeah, that's a bit of a non crit there, really.
Yeah.
It's like fuel leak on the last damage.
What's the other? I'm sure there's another one where it's like, oh, that one doesn't matter.
Hull breach, like hull breach and fuel leak on the last
Hull breach
damage.
and fuel leak. Yeah, those are the two. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just. I mean, it's nice to get the crit in, but so does the ghost just try and book it away, or because he's not obviously going to get into any bumping positions, but it'd be interesting to see. He's probably going to want to turn to ship right, so towards Quinn's board edge, because that's where his dorsal turret is facing, and that's the most likely that he's going to be able to get a shot. Try and catch Temin if Temin tries to follow straight round. So if the ghost can turn hard enough, I think probably a 2. Let's have a look. A 2 hard would be probably one of the best moves for the ghost, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Because I mean, at this point, he's still got stress that he's not going to get rid of, so he's never taking another action.
Which is a shame on a ship that has a turret that you want to be rotating, and
yeah,
it kind of means that. Actually, no, you can still use more while stressed, can't you?
Yeah, you can
just
still
get another one.
Yeah, you just get another one. So there's no limit on how many times you can stress yourself with more.
Okay, so it only really shuts down like the reinforce and the rotating of the gun.
Yeah.
Which, considering how many upgrades and how many points Kanan is here, that's not terrible for a really stressed ship.
Yeah. I mean, he's 97 points, but I think a lot of that is just purely because, I mean, he's 76 points basic because he's obviously in a big ship with a big gun.
And he has the force.
And he has 2 force. Maul's 10 points of those upgrades. So...
And is still in use.
Oh, so he flew straight. Interesting. Did not expect that.
It's trying to clear some stress, I suppose.
Yeah, trying to clear one of those stress. Not the move I would have expected. Ezra and Rob just having a little bit of a team meeting there in the corner.
Yeah, they're just regrouping, figuring out what they want to do.
Yeah. Again, interesting maneuver. Not sure Ezra going that way would be the right idea, but I mean, I'd have gone the other way, expecting the Endum to be heading back towards your board edge on the turnaround. But Snap is still hunting Kanan down.
Yep. Again, if I know I'm safe, I'll probably take a target lock, which I've done here. And also boosting closer to Poe to give him more room to sort of get behind where Timon is.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it was a bit of a missed opportunity there from Quinn with going that way with Ezra.
I did consider doing a Talon roll with Nian, but I wasn't entirely sure I could get enough repositioning to get close enough to either Rourke or Ezra
to avoid that stress. Yeah.
I'm glad I did the boost to the side, because otherwise Poe would have bumped.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be very limited shooting here. Possibly Rourke might have a shot with his turret. Again, looking at the angles, I think he does catch the end there. But obviously we will see Snap taking a shot.
Trying to finish the job on Kanan.
I think Quinn is as well, just having a quick look to see if the dorsal turret has range, but it doesn't. Does mean it does count as spending a force, though.
Oh, yeah.
So a bit of a shame there for him.
I forgot you'd done that. I was like, oh, you're checking your arc. Like, yeah, but now I've got to turn over one of these tokens.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, he's still got 2, and he's not going to use them on defense, so he'll get it back, so it almost doesn't matter for him.
True.
And let's see. Yep, Rock does catch Neon Numb at range 2. There's a lot further out than I was expecting there. Oh, that's not bad. And that's why you've got that focus.
Good old focus.
Yeah, that's really worked well for you there. Because that could have been a very poorly Neon Numb at that point.
Yeah, having him on 1 health would not be... Well, it's not fun for any ship, but...
Yeah. Oh, and we do have a bullseye, so that's heavy laser cannon there.
So I think with that, all 3 of my ships have actually triggered the heavy laser cannon in this game.
Yes.
Which in itself, I'm happy with, really.
Yeah. So let's see what the actual roll is. That is not bad at all. Obviously, that crit will get turned down.
And for good measure, I've got the target lock.
May as well spend it. So that's 4 hits going through. So that is a dead Kanan Jarrus. And obviously Maul will just come back in another iteration because that's what Maul does.
I still want to see a crew card that is just Maul's legs.
Oh, that would be hilarious. I'm pretty sure that there is somewhere a card that someone has mocked up for that. But that would be quite cool. I mean, I'd like to see... I mean, obviously the way Solo left off, it looked like there could have been like a sequel with Maul and Crimson Dawn, so it would have been quite nice to see more Maul.
I'm curious to see if he's going to crop up in some way in Bad Batch.
I would be disappointed if he didn't. I mean,
they've already had a couple of cameos from film characters and stuff, so...
Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to...
I don't want to spoil the show because it's only just started to come out, but it looks interesting.
Yeah, I think we'll leave that discussion till after we stop recording, because I've got some questions and queries I want to answer, but I don't want to spoil anything from Clone Wars or Bad Batch for anyone. If you have not watched
Fair
them,
enough.
I wholly suggest watching Clone Wars and Bad Batch and Rebels as well, to be honest. Those 3 animated series are fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it earlier, but if you like Ralph McQuarrie's concept art, go watch Rebels.
Yeah.
Like, Zeb himself is the concept art for Chewbacca.
Yes.
And it's so cool to see it realized.
Have you seen that you can get the the Chewbacca concept art as a Funko Pop?
No, but that doesn't surprise me. There's a Funko Pop of everything.
Yeah, I saw it announced on Facebook the other day. You can get the Chewbacca concept art Funko Pop, which was interesting.
But is there a Funko Pop of just Maul's legs?
No, but I'm pretty sure that someone could do it.
It wouldn't surprise me.
if there is a Clone Wars variant of Maul, just chop the top off. And then you
need to get the Phantom Menace version of him and cut the top off.
Oh yes, I suppose. Yeah, there is that. And then you could, if you get another base, you could have it as a 2-part, one on a higher bit where it's falling.
Yeah. I think the funniest joke of the legs I've seen is it's either the Lego video game or one of the Lego shorts where Maul gets cut in half and the legs are just walking around in the background of the shot where Qui-Gon dies.
That does sound like something they would do in the Lego Star Wars. I mean, again, Lego combined with Star Wars, that was just a match made in heaven.
Yeah.
Like, those games are so good.
It's also great that minifigs in Lego have just the right hand size to grab hold of pegs in X-Wing.
Yes, and I do occasionally like having them holding on to the pegs. I've got, in my case, I have a Rebellion pilot and a Imperial pilot ready for those times when I'm flying either of those factions.
Nice.
And in fact, I have some clone troopers as well. So when I'm flying V19s and V-Wings, I could potentially put some clone troopers in there as well. Right, so now we have a very different game. Poe and Temmin are now freed up to get themselves back up the board.
Yeah, it was completely unintentional, but they've ended up with really clear lines through the debris and the
Yeah.
obstacles.
And Nian has a great shot there onto Rourke. Ezra's still not in a great position. Didn't get that
So
turnaround very well.
here's the actual roll.
Oh, 3 crits, and you have
A target
that
lock.
target lock. That is just.
I'm looking at it now, and I do actually have bullseye,
Yeah.
but
But
obviously,
you're range 1, so.
yeah, not having to change all of those
Yeah.
crits to regular hits is quite nice.
Ouch. So that is 2 crits going through. So 1 shield and a crit. It's not going to quite take him out, but still. And the crit we have going through.
It is weird to think that until just now, the only damage he'd had was from clipping that obstacle at the start of the game.
Yeah, it was only his own mistake. So that was
Like,
a
Quinn's done a
blinded
really
pilot.
good job of keeping Rourke safe.
Yes, he has. I mean, Rourke is a key piece in there.
It's a great ability.
Oh, yeah, it's fantastic. And he hasn't run that risk of putting so many things on Rourke to make him really expensive. He's just gone, Rourke is there for the ability and that turret.
Yeah, he hasn't even gone for the title.
Yeah. So managed to evade that there. I think he saved that focus knowing that Tevin was going to have a shot.
Yes.
Or actually, it could be blinded pilot that meant he couldn't spend it because he could spend the force now.
That's true. Yeah.
And 2 hits there from Tevin. And that target lock. So just 2 could be enough.
We'll see.
It's not. Some nice evades there. And that would be it for the round. But I tell you what, up until the point where the ghost went down, it was a lot closer of a game.
Yeah, I mean, as long as the ghost is still on the board, you're thinking, okay, where is that 4 dice wide, like very wide primary gun going to be pointing?
Yeah.
Like my ships can shoot 4 red dice, but it's only in their bullseye.
Or when you get really close.
Well, or when you get really close, but that's the same with almost every ship.
Yeah. But yeah, four dice. I mean, if that got in range 1, 5 dice with 3 force behind it is incredibly scary. I mean, it's just.
I'm trying to think back through the game. The ghost didn't actually shoot the primary that many times, did it?
I think it shot. I think we got the primary shot 2 or 3 times at most.
I don't know. I think a lot of that was out the side of the turret.
Yeah, it was mainly turret shots. It was almost there as just a big blocker for most of the game, which it did very effectively.
Oh, yeah. It completely denied me various positions.
Yeah. I mean, it meant in that second round of shooting, you had to shoot 3 ships at Captain Rex to take him out.
Yeah, and even then, only just really did it.
So let's see, is Ezra going to do something? Yeah, that's a bit better from Ezra. Doesn't clear the stress, unfortunately. But
he's facing the right way.
Yeah. Rourke going over that gas cloud. Absolutely fine. No action, but also no strain token. So he's got a nice position with his turret there. I mean, quite a nice position there with his.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't often do a 1-speed maneuver with Temin because he doesn't get his free boost. But
yeah,
I think I wasn't entirely sure where Rourke was going to be, so I just wanted to roll in slow at this point.
Yeah. And Nian now taking the Ezra route and turning a little bit too hard around, but again, you've still got Poe and Temin coming up. Poe looks like he doesn't actually have a shot on at the moment, unless he potentially boosts. But I don't know. He can't focus boost, can he? I mean, what, focus target lock or?
It looks like a target lock.
No, it looks like just a focus.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, focus and starting combat, I think.
Yeah. So range 1 from Rourke. I think you've got to go for Temin. It's
Oh,
just
yeah, I mean, he could kill Temin.
yeah.
I mean, it would be simultaneous fire,
Yes.
but
So we've got at least 2 hits. Let's see what happened with that other dice. So 2
2
hits.
hits and a blank.
Ooh, so do you just take them and go for that range 1 shot? Or
I think I keep hold of it because Ezra might also have range 3,
yeah.
and I'd have more green die. I can't remember actually.
I think oh, you've spent it. That's interesting. I think I would have potentially kept that because you would get a chance to shoot range 1 at Rourke with 4 dice, but
I think I was in the mindset of, well, I've got a lot of red dice into Rourke,
yeah.
and I want to be healthy enough that it's going to be tricky for Ezra to get the kill. And I know I can spend the focus on this defense, whereas I might not roll a focus on the Ezra defense.
Yeah, it's always a tricky one of do you spend it when you've got it? Because there's always those times where you go, oh, I won't spend it because I'll need it next time, and then you either roll really well and don't need it, or you roll really badly and go, oh, wish I had a focus in there.
Well, actually, I think that was another, not the roll.
Yeah. Oh,
But that one was.
Oh, bye, Rourke.
That's one of those times where you roll your dice, and even though you're the one attacking, you kind of go, oh, right,
Yeah.
okay.
You're always like, sorry about that, mate. That was really good. So yeah, that's 3 hits and a crit. Bye, Rourke.
I know they're the same initiative, but Temin is very good at hunting down things that move after him. Move before him, rather.
Yeah. Looks like Quinn's playing a magic trick with that damage card there. Somehow managing to get it under his pilot card.
There was some weird stuff going on with Tabletop Simulator this game, with the dice and the damage decks getting picked up and all sorts of weird things happening.
And just for good measure, that crit was a structural damage.
Oh, another one.
Plenty of jokes about the structure being very damaged. So
the bit over there is damaged, the bit over there is damaged.
The bit that's now part of that debris cloud is damaged. Oh, not bad.
I mean, a direct hit coming through.
Yep.
Could take out Snap.
Not like that, it can't though, unfortunately.
No.
I'll tell you what, it is. Once Temin and Poe didn't have to concentrate on the ghost, suddenly, as you said earlier, it became a completely different game and a lot tougher for Quinn there.
Yeah, I mean, once any list's ships can focus fire, it's such a different game.
And we've already mentioned about the utility of the T-70, what it can do. I mean, you've got your normal gun, you've got the heavy laser cannon, you've got the tricks and shenanigans they can do with getting target locks and focuses, doing red maneuvers with near numb and potentially not getting stressed, getting that really good positioning with Snap and that free boost.
Everyone's got the R4 astromech on this one, so more blues, because that is I think the biggest downside to both X-Wings is that the blues aren't the best.
Yeah.
And particularly for Poe to be able to do a sharp turn, clear the stress, and still do his ability is a huge improvement.
And I'm not going to lie, I think R4 astromech is possibly points for points the best astromech in the game.
Yeah, at 2 points, making all of your speed 1 to 2 basic maneuvers blue.
It's just,
or you decrease the difficulty of them. To be fair,
yeah, you decrease the difficulty. Yeah, so there are some ships where it only makes it white, but still, it's.
I mean, in some ways, I'd argue going from red to white, particularly on those ships, probably better.
Yeah, I would agree. And it is, again, it's such a good astromech that you always have to. There almost has to be even more of a gain for you to use a different astromech. I know that there are some ships like Anakin and Obi-Wan that do really well with an R2 astromech in there.
Yeah.
And I know that with, say, the Naboo Starfighter and Rick Olay, there is a different astromech that he has, which is quite handy. The one that allows you to change the speed of your maneuver up or down one.
Yeah, I mean that's built for him.
Yeah, it really pairs up with his ability of, oh, you did a 2 and I dialed a 2. Okay, well now I'll do a 3 so I get an extra dice. There are some which are really good for other things, but I think overall R4 astromech is probably my most used and most favoured astromech in the game.
It's very good. And talking about what we mentioned earlier about focusing fire.
Yeah, that's a kill box if I've ever seen one. That's
definitely a kill box. I was quite happy to get Nin's ability to trigger as well.
Yeah.
To do the boost.
And that's target lock focus from Poe. So that's 3 hits.
That is 3 hits.
So Ezra with a focus and the force. We've got 2 evades. And what is the third dice?
I mean, even if the third one is not an evade, he's still alive.
Yep. So that is 1 damage.
1 damage.
That's half points on Ezra.
Can the other 2 finish the job?
A TIE fighter with 1 damage for the win.
I mean, he still has his focus.
Yep. But he is now range 1 from near numb with a target lock and a focus. Ouch. That is near numb's ability there to be able to do that talon roll, and well, you may as well just spend the focus. Night, game over. And a natty evade.
And even then, clawing onto life as best he can.
You know what? That is the way you end a game. Like, that is just absolutely. That's a great.
3 natural evades.
Yeah. GG there, Quinn. I'm just going to say, some of Quinn's flying in there was just brilliant. He got some really good kill boxes in. He got some really good bumps in. And I think he really, really made you work for that one.
Oh, yeah. And the way his list sort of works with each other, Rourke bumping people up to a 7, particularly bumping Rex up to a 7 to get the suppressive ability to trigger early.
Yeah.
Figuring out what to hit first was very tricky.
Yeah, it's a very good game. And, well, at the end of that game, you've made it through to our final. So you'll be obviously eagerly watching the next semi-final to see whether it's myself or Fergus that will be your opponent.
I will indeed.
So it's going to be interesting to see how that game goes. But again, GG to Quinn, and very well flown there, James. On that one, is a very enjoyable game, and I love that last little bit of action there as well. Right, well, again, James, thank you very much for coming along to commentate that with me. Looking forward to seeing what you're going to fly in the final and how that goes for you.
Yeah, I need to think about what that's going to be.
Yes, it'll be interesting, but no doubt it'll be a good list. I'm looking forward to seeing that. But yeah, thank you very much for coming along to commentate that one with us, buddy.
No worries.
Awesome. Well, that's it for semi-final number 1, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As always, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click that notification bell. And we will see you next time.